Hey Dosies, I'm Pris.
And I'm Taylor. You're listening to The Dose of It.
We're just two best friends on our wellness journeys, learning, growing, unlearning, and sharing it all with you along the way.
Now, we're not doctors or professionals, just two girls figuring it out and talking about all the real stuff, the good, the messy, and everything in between.
So grab whatever you're sipping on.
Because here's your weekly dose.
I think we're good. That's enough for
I trust us. We're good. Hello, Dosies! Welcome back to yet another week of The Dose of It. We are so excited to have you guys back. If you're new here, my name is Taylor, and my beautiful co-host here next to me is Priscilla, or Pris, or Liver. There are many names that she goes by. I know, I just called you your government.
Liv, the government name was crazy. I was like this.
Well, what if we have a new listener and they don't know what Pris is short for?
It's short for that bitch.
Y'all heard it here first. Y'all heard it here first. If this is your first week listening to The Dose of It, welcome in. We are two silly molecule-sized girls who come on this podcast and document our health and wellness journeys with you guys. We are both on GLP-1s. We've lost over 200 pounds together. We come on here and share our journeys with you guys. And as always, this is a safe and judgment-free zone. And we are just super excited to have you guys here with us for this week.
Yes, we are so happy to welcome all of you guys back. If you are new here, we hope that you stay. And if you come here every single week and you are not subscribed wherever you are listening from, please hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you are getting reminded when we're posting. We post every single Tuesday. So you guys will get your weekly dose every Tuesday. We also have a newsletter called The Refill that comes out every single Monday. So you guys can get refilled and refill your cup, refill your mood, refill whatever you need to refill your prescription. Okay.
That is what
my coffee do be needing a little refill. Mm-hmm. One thing about us, we need to prep you guys for, if you are new here and if you are not new here, but you don't happen to have this handy, you need to make sure that you have your drink of choice nearby. You need to make sure that you are ready, because we will call out a hydration check throughout the episodes. And when we call a hydration check, you better get ready because you need to start sipping on whatever you're drinking.
Yeah. Hydration check, hands off the wheel, hands off the wheel, hands off your child. Just drop it for a second. Drink whatever you got next to you. Ready? Mm-hmm.
This morning, I'm drinking a coffee. We have a nuri moment going on, a little bit of a brown sugar cookie, little, what is it called? Creamer and La Colombe coffee.
Okay, barista, why is your straw, like your whole vibe is giving Starbucks? What are the deets on your coffee cup?
Well, let me tell you the deets, girl. So everything is actually from Amazon. I usually don't use these green straws. I usually use the pink straws, the pink heart straws. I
like the green ones.
Thank you. But this actually comes in a set. So if you are wanting to not hit up the coffee store, coffee shop, this is my key, and it tricks my mind into thinking that I did go to a coffee shop in the morning. And sometimes it's just drinking out of a cup that'll do it for me.
Yeah, no, it's like a positive thing that goes on in your brain, which actually we're going to be kind of diving into a little bit today about like dopamine and why certain things make you feel certain ways. Yep. But there are ways to like trick your brain. And one of them is like a way to save money. I used to do that. I used to buy my own plastic cups and then like make my own coffees or proffies in the morning. So I'm gonna need you to send me that link because I like
got you, Liv.
Those cups. I like the shape.
I got you, Liv. I got you.
I'm just sipping on my normal H2O today. I really should put some electrolytes in here because I'm feeling a migraine, but we'll do that after the pod.
We'll do that after the pod. But before we even get into the rotisserie of this episode, Liv, I need an update. How was your week? I mean, it's so crazy to me because every time we do these episodes, we're like, we need an update, as if we're literally not always talking. But I need an update for the fam. I need an update for the dosies. How has your week been? You have really exciting things happening today, so let us in your light.
Yeah, so first of all, a little update. It's also crazy because we do talk every single day, but also I feel like when we come on here and we do these check-ins with everybody, I feel like so much can happen in a week. And that's kind of how I feel like this week. So a few things to update you guys on. If you are new here or maybe you just haven't heard me talk about it, I have been on in a toxic cycle kind of moment with someone for the past few years. And for whatever reason, I did allow him space back into my life. And yeah, I just thought that, he had changed and I thought that he was going to be different this time around, as they like to promise that they would be. I did have an incident over Christmas where I was not treated very well. And the whole day ended up turning to crap. So I decided to put myself first. And it is actually day 4 of being no contact with this person. I'm following Mel Robbins' way of doing no contact. And that means no looking at pictures, no looking at voice memos, no, like you really aren't even supposed to talk about them, no texting them, obviously, no watching videos. Like it is purely no contact because the way Mel Robbins explains it is that you're grieving someone and if, you have to get used to the fact that they're not going to be there anymore. But if you're looking at videos and pictures and stuff like that, you're just prolonging the process. So that's what I'm doing in my personal life right now, just a little tidbit into my life. Also, I did give birth. I was pregnant for 6 days and then I did give birth. I'm giving birth today, actually, here in like 2 hours. Yeah, so 4 o'clock is the time I decided that I'm going to get induced today. No. So I actually have been in the looks for possibly adopting an animal. And I just felt like what better time of a season of the new year and also letting someone else go, but maybe bringing in a healthy, cute little cuddly boy that'll never break my heart. So I did go to a shelter and I found a sweet little black kitty. I figured that it was time for me to bring a new addition into my life. I'm letting something else go. It's the new year. And I said, why deal with a boy that's going to constantly break my heart when I could rescue a little boy that would cuddle me and appreciate me, right? So I went to a shelter and I walked in there and there was this little sweet, cuddly kitty who I was on FaceTime with Chris. And
So cute.
he was so cute. He literally like jumped on my lap. He was purring. Like he's so beautiful. He's all black. He's got like golden eyes. He's Gorgina. So I go pick him up in T-minus 2 hours as we're filming this. So I'm super excited. I give birth in 2 hours. But
That's really so exciting, Liv. And honestly, I love that because for those of you guys that don't know, which actually I don't think anybody does, but she went in with the intentions of getting another cat. And that day I was like, maybe you should go to the shelter just to maybe get a feel again and see if that's the cat for you. And she went again and the cat wasn't really vibing. Like it's such a cute cat. It was such a cute, gentle, sweet kitty, but it was not like on the same wavelength as Taylor. So whenever she went there, that black cat went to her immediately. She called me and she was like, is this my son? And I was like, wait, this is your son. And if you follow us on Instagram, I posted pictures of her with the cat because it was precious. Seeing her prepared to give birth today was everything. I'm so excited for you to get your son. I don't know if you're gonna tell the world what his name is today or if you're waiting to announce it, but we want to know. We want to know.
Oh my God. Okay. So I'll tell you guys what I'm thinking about naming him, right? Because I don't know if it's set in stone. If you know me and you know this podcast, we talk a lot about Coke Zeros or like Diet Cokes. And that's just something we talk about in the community. And I thought it'd be really cute to name him Coke Zero.
Yup. Coke Zero.
Coke Zero and call him Zero. I just love silly, goofy cat names. Like my roommate's cat name is Milky. Like I just think it's funny to have like a non-traditional
serious
like,
name.
Yeah, like imagine like I could call him Coke. I could be like, come here, Coke. Or like if he's being bad, I could be like, Coke Zero McDaniels, get your butt over here. You know? Like,
that's literally me. My cat's name's Binks, but he has a middle name Renee. I did not name him Renee. One of my best friends named him Renee at the time, and I was like, it's just so funny because where I'm from, well, I actually don't know if it's necessarily where I'm from, but so many people's middle names are Renee. Like it's a very common middle name. And I was like, that's iconic. I'm naming him Binks Renee. And so that's just stuck with him forever. He knows that if he's misbehaving, I'm going to call him Renee and I'm going to yell at him. Kind of like right now, literally before we started, he started scratching my chair. He always does that right when I press record. He comes and starts scratching the shit out of it. I will literally be on FaceTime with Taylor for an hour before getting ready. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't care. Is sleeping somewhere else. As soon as I press record, he's up in my grill. I'm like, Renee, not today. Today I felt really bad because I had to kick him out. So I'm so excited for you to start your cat journey. Literally seeing you get all your goodies, all of your, your giving birth bag was very, very cute. She has everything set up in her room. Your hospital bag. Yes, your hospital bag is ready to go. I have no doubt Zero is going to be the luckiest kitty ever to have such a sweet mommy like you.
Yes.
I also want to touch base, obviously, on your 30 days of no contact. I think it's so important that you talk about that, Liv, because, I think it is very important and it's very hard to cut somebody off and do that no contact thing because I know that whenever I tell myself that I'm not talking to a person, it's very easy to give in and go back to temptation. And like you said, just looking at the photos, looking at the reminders of them is a very easy way to want to go back. So I'm proud of you. I think 30 days of no contact is necessary. It's important. It doesn't seem easy. And I know it's not easy, but I think that you will do it. I think the first couple of days might be hard, but as you continue to do it, it's just going to become second nature to you. You're going to be like, why was I so stuck here? I literally don't care anymore. And I have no doubt that in a couple of weeks when we do these check-ins, you're going to be so far ahead. So I'm so proud of you, Liv. I think that's so amazing that you're doing that.
Yeah, thank you so much for for like validating me in that. I think it is really hard. It's a hard decision to make, but I think when you're allowing someone space into your life and
Yeah.
they're not giving you anything, they're not serving you in any way, they're not helping you, but they're really bringing you down. I was just allowing him so much space in doing that, and I kind of just decided I have to choose myself and my future and everything, and I can't help but to, I mean, I have you to definitely thank for playing a factor and like helping me like realize my worth and stuff. So thank you, and thank all of my dosies also.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're also going through this, maybe a breakup season of your life, know that you're not alone, and it's not easy, but it does get easier with time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liv, I want to know, how is this little, the 7 days since they've heard from your life? Like, what's going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah. Well, this was the very first week that I did social media full time. So I still have a part-time gig, but my main focus is on social media now. And it's just so crazy to me to know that I am able to do this and I was capable of doing it, because I cannot tell you guys how long I was so like, I just wanted, this was my dream and I get to live it every day now. And it's so much fun. Me and Taylor were talking about it the other day. Well, actually, we were talking about it this morning. She was like, Liv, we need to film this and do this. And typically I'm very limited with my time as far as like when we can do these kind of things. And I was like, well, Liv, we have all the time in the world now. Like, what day do you want to do?
Yeah, that was
It's
the
just so much
difference.
fun. It's a lot of work. The past couple of days, even Puff was like, damn, this is like genuinely a full-time job. Like, I'm still up at the crack of dawn. I'm still working. I'm still doing things. It just feels so surreal to be able to do this. And it's because of you guys. It really, really is. And I'm so fortunate to be here. And yeah, I got my extensions fixed. So, I got a little updo on my hair. And if you notice that, she's looking a little hairy, that's why. But I'm just really happy to be here. Liv comes down to Texas in a couple of weeks. We have some really exciting things coming up. Like, honestly, it's so crazy because we told ourselves this time we were not going to work. We're not going to work when she comes down this time, but somehow, some way, we're going to end up working. And
The
it's
whole
really
time.
the whole time. But honestly, that's just how we roll. Like, we roll that way. I think that's how our brain is. Like, I told Liv, I think I have a problem in the sense that like I sometimes will wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, I need to do more. Like, I need to do more. But it's like, it's so rewarding. Like, it's just so rewarding to know that we have this platform that you guys look forward to seeing us and hearing us. Last night, somebody had posted a screenshot. They were like, spending my afternoon. And it was like an episode so long ago. And it's just like, some of you guys are genuinely binge watching our content. Some of you guys are just catching up to this episode. And it just blows my mind that I can be that little voice in your head. Taylor can be that little voice in your head that you guys look forward to listening to every week. So this week was just kind of like a full circle week for me. I was just in the reality of, Pris, this is what you've been dreaming of doing for so long, and you finally get to do it. And I'm just really grateful. My heart is just like full with so much gratitude. I obviously have to thank you too, Liv, because you were also that little devil and angel on my shoulder telling me to do it for so long. And I was like, I literally cannot do it. And you were like, you can.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for you to push me. Sometimes we all just need that one friend to tell you to do it.
Yeah, Liv, I just want to say, like, it's insane to see like the growth. I do remember like telling you, like, there was a point in time where, like, guys, like, you have to think back in March or February, early February, when Pris was about to start her GLP-1 journey. And she was like, I don't think I can post it. And I was like, you have to post it. Think about all the people that are watching you, that have been following you from before, that are probably secretly on GLP-1s or whatever it may be. And she just finally like came around. She's like, okay, like, I'll post it. And to see like where you're at now, and then also like the beautiful community and brand that we've been able to build together, I think is insane. Like, we had a call today that we can't really say anything about yet, but it was a call that was like insane. And that, like, for us to be recognized for like what we were, and just to have a call like that, it's those moments where it like sets Pris and I back in time, where we're like, wait,
this is why we do it.
Yeah, this is why we do it. We're kind of like, we are kind of like influencers-ish.
It's so weird. I hate saying that. Like, I literally had my therapy appointment yesterday.
Yeah, I'm like, I hate that word, but it's like, how else do we describe, you know, our job or like what we do? You know, we are at the end of the day like doing social media, and like, you know, we had a call that kind of was like, we recognized us for that, and we were like, oh, okay. Like, it was like, thank you.
No, it's actually crazy. And that call, it was so funny because we were like, we don't want to sound, but we're going to brag about our community. And like, we just truly were like, y'all, like, our community is quite literally the best. And like, I know that every content creator can say that, but like, I can firmly say that with my chest, that everyone that's in our corner is quite literally the best ever. And you guys make us who we are. And, you know, honestly, I just kind of want to end my update with the whole, when I was younger, maybe like a year or 2, 3 ago, whatever, right? When I was barely starting content creation, delete.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A month or two ago.
maybe like 2 months ago when I was younger.
When I was younger, like 2 months ago, when I was an infant. Yeah, I'm only 2. How's my skin
Yeah.
look?
Your cat. Okay, Wood. I'm gonna start a working one. I just kind of want to end my whole weekly check-in with saying that a while back, I used to hear all these like influencers say that like if your dreams are big, like go after them, like anything is possible, like you can do whatever you want to do. And I was like, shut up, like shut up. I'm working this job that I'm sitting here and like all I want to do some days is just do content. All I want to do some days is talk to my friends online and just like relate to them and make a difference. And for so long, I was kind of like a cloud floating and I was like trying to figure out what I was doing and trying to figure out like where I was meant to be. And it's just, I'm meant to be here. Like, this is where I'm meant to be. Whenever you guys message me or message Taylor or message the podcast page and just tell us that we were the reason why you got up today, or you were the reason why you started your wellness journey or your GLP-1 journey, it truly just like brings me alive, because I doubted myself for so long, and you can really do it. And I just want to say that if you're listening to this and you might feel like, I'm doing all of these things for what? I'm getting up and I'm moving for what? I'm posting videos that get 30 views, 2 likes for what? I'm going live and I'm only reaching 1 to 2 people. I'm doing these things and nobody's noticing. I can tell you one thing, that if you give up, nobody will ever notice. But if you keep pushing, it's going to take one day, one video, one moment for it to click and everything fall into place. So keep going, keep going. I know that it sounds so cliche. When I was in your shoes and I would hear these creators say it, I'd be like, shut the fuck up, I'm skipping it. But I truly want you to believe in yourself, because believing in myself really got me where I am today. So I'm ending my weekly check-in like that.
That's perfect, Liver. I think that inspires so many people in so many different ways. And like at the end of the day, like we were once 2 girls that had a dream, and the dream is coming true now. And yeah, you guys can do absolutely anything that you put your mind to. And I know that we can confidently say that because you guys listen to us every single week. And you're our dosies, and we believe in our dosies so much.
Really do.
Speaking of this week and every week, what are we talking about this week? Like, let's get into the rotis.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, honestly, I was thinking about it the other day, because I'm going to be real. I think that being on this wellness journey, being on a GLP-1, it's getting a little hazy. It's getting a little hazy to some of the community. I saw somebody post something the other day and it really stuck with me. Okay. And I know everybody's different. Everybody's allowed to feel what they feel. Everyone's allowed to go after whatever they want to go after. Like I said, me and Taylor, this is just our journey. This is what our personal lives are going through and how we feel. And we come on our podcast and talk about it. So you have every right to have a different opinion. I think that's what makes life so beautiful. But I saw a post the other day of somebody that had said that there's nothing better and there's nothing that makes them happier than being skinny. And I read that and I automatically was like, what the hell? Who posted this? And when I saw it, I was like, no. I think when you're on this journey, it gets so easy to believe that that is what makes you happy. That is what the end goal is all about. We just want to be small. We want to be tiny. And I know that we joke around all the time. We're like, oh, we're just these tiny molecules. Like, we're so small. And it's never coming from a place that like, that is our goal. But I wanted to talk about skinny talk. I wanted to talk about skinny culture. I wanted to talk about how sometimes we lose sight of what's actually important and we forget why we're doing this. So I wanted to normalize this conversation that we should have. I think that when me and Taylor come on this podcast, I want it to be intentional, and I want us to talk about things that are actually happening around us. And if you're listening to this podcast, maybe you just started a GLP-1 not that long ago, and you're seeing these kind of posts all over the place, and you're like, wait, I'm not doing this to be smaller. I'm doing this to feel better, or I'm doing this to get healthier. Should I be doing it to be smaller? I want to talk about that. I want to get real deep in here. I want to dig into this chicken today and really get to the bones.
Yeah, I mean, let's dive right into the rotis, right? I think exactly what you're saying is something that needs to be talked about. So I love that you came up with the idea to discuss it, because I remember you had showed me that post and I was like, okay. And obviously like people post things and things are posted as like a trend and it's funny and it's all that stuff. And I totally get that. But I think that coming from us we're big, like we watch people, we're people observers. And I think that we've seen a lot of people in this community, they really become addicted to the feeling or striving towards being skinny. And they do think that it'll fix absolutely everything. They think that feeling no hunger, being tiny, all of those things will make you feel the best that you've ever felt. I think something that'll really get me across like the GLP-1 community is people will post something like, only had a protein shake today. I feel so skinny. And to me, like, as someone who has been in that position of like only being able to consume a protein shake, and I can't even stand up off of the couch without almost collapsing from dizziness, like, I promise you that's not the best you'll feel. Like, the people have this misconception that if I'm skinny, if I'm eating less calories and all that stuff, I'm going to feel amazing. It's going to make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be so happy.
Mm-hmm.
But as someone who, for the last month or so, has been silently struggling with having that mentality,
Yeah.
and then when I got to a point of, I'm sure my blood pressure, like, because guys, like, I'm serious, I would stand up and almost completely pass out. I had the shakes, I was getting migraines because I was not eating, because I was chasing skinny.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, like, that's not a healthy mindset. And that's something that does need to be addressed. Like, it's not cute, it's not healthy to think that being skinny and being all bone and having no muscle and all that stuff is going to make you happy, because at the end of the day, it's all internal, you
Yeah.
know? So I think it's great that we talk about that.
I think that, I mean, I love that you touched on that, Liv, because it's true. Whenever you see people come on the internet, and I'm not talking about those like funny videos, right? Like, I know some people genuinely just want to be funny, but there are people that literally come on the internet and tell you if you're eating more than this, or if you're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're doing it wrong. I'm talking about people that genuinely make you feel like what you're doing is wrong when you're actually eating like a normal being. I think that that's where I need to draw the line, because it's not safe. It's truly just not safe. And honestly, it sets us up for failure in a sense that no matter what we do, we're not good enough, right? We see like people on the internet talking about how, like you said, they've only had a protein shake today and they're so full, like, I can't eat anything else. And it almost makes you feel like, well, I can't eat a protein shake and be full the rest of the day. So am I doing this wrong? It almost makes you feel like, well, I ate a burger today. I'm so big and I'm never going to be what they are. And so I think that that's where I draw the line. I think that that's where it's wrong, because I don't want anyone to feel like because they don't want to chase being small, that their journey is not worth it.
Right. And I think that when people it's kind of like where we bring in that conversation we've had multiple times of like, comparison is the thief of joy and stuff, is like, you do have people constantly commenting on what you're doing and, you know, what you're eating and all that stuff. And something that really used to affect me in the beginning of my journey is, if you guys, maybe some of you guys have found me this way, but I used to post a lot of what I eat in a day videos during like my 9 to 5 or whatever. And I would have so many people comment, and Liv, I know you've opened up about this too. Yeah. I would have people comment like, you eat all of that during your shift, you need to lower your dose. And I actually just had, it was a year ago today that the video, or yesterday, it was a year ago yesterday, the video popped up, and I'd made a video responding to that comment. Someone literally commented, "Girl, you eat all of that in a work shift, you need to up your dose." And when I tell you, that video was literally me eating my like 3 chicken tenders with a pickle. I had like some Greek yogurt, and then I had a protein shake. And she looked at that and said, "You're eating that, all of that during 8 hours." And like, to me, it's like people they just have that mindset of like, the less you eat, the better you'll feel, the quicker you'll get skinny. And it's like, people also don't understand that, like, if you lose weight really rapidly and you get skinny very, very fast, you're going to have just as many medical complications as someone who is 600 pounds would have, because it's the same amount of stress and, you know, issues on your body. Your body's like, whoa, 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 we're not getting enough nutrition. We're not healthy. Like, you're going to pass out. You're going to get heart issues. Like, people just don't understand, like, the science, or like, you know, why being skinny is not going to make you happy. I wonder why that really happens.
Well, I think as society, we're just taught that being in a bigger body, we're just not good enough. We're too big. We're not pretty enough because we're big. Some people just are treat us so differently because we're in a bigger body. And I think like, once you get into this mentality that because you're big, that's why you're being treated that way, you don't want to be that person anymore. And I get asked this all the time. People always ask me like, "Oh, what's your goal weight? Like, what's your goal weight?" Yes. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a goal weight at all. I think that that's perfectly fine. But I think that some people get so like hyper fixated on that goal weight that they don't pay attention to anything else. And if I sat here and I told you that this is my goal weight and I'm not going to be happy until I reach that goal weight, I would have been miserable, because do you know how many great things I've had happen to me that is not necessarily about my weight? I've been able to fit into clothes that I've never been able to fit into before. I've been able to go to a store and buy clothes off the rack. I've been able to order from companies that I've been wanting to try that I couldn't try for a very long time. And now I can. And I just feel like some people get so stuck on a number, get so stuck on this image. And I think it is hard whenever you see creators on the internet flaunting that, when you see them talking about how they've never been happier than being small. Because for people that are not small, for people that are living in a body that maybe they're uncomfortable with right now. I just don't think that that's fair.
Yeah, well, I think also too, the association with like being skinnier means you're going to be healthier, you're going to be happier, you're going to be prettier, comes with like compliments that aren't really compliments, right? It comes with people saying things like, oh, you're getting so small, you look amazing. You know, like my family has said things like that to me, not in like I know a malicious way, but they'll say things like, you're so tiny, you're adorable now, and you're cute, you're getting so small. And it's like when you're hearing comments like that,
Now.
now you look so healthy. Now you're just glowing now. And it's like kind of like these backhanded compliments that again are not really compliments that I think your brain starts to associate, well, I'm getting thinner and I'm getting all of these compliments now. So if I get even thinner than I already am, then I'm going to get 10 times more as compliments. And if you're someone who is a people pleaser, who thrives off of compliments and stuff like that, that right there alone is feeding the addiction to wanting to be smaller, to wanting to be skinnier. Like, that is something that I think right there is like kind of how I asked why, like, do people have that, like, why are they like addicted to this feeling? I think it's compliments can be a real factor.
Nerd check.
Oh my God. We're going to do a little nerd thing again here, but we're back on this random podcast again. Hello?
Yeah, the hosts are kind of hot, but I think I'm ready to smarticle all over them.
I think I'm ready to smarticle all over them too. Again, this is only our second time here on this random podcast, but I also can't see out of these glasses because I'm wearing my contacts and
it's okay. I can help you.
So yeah, I'm going to wear my glasses down on my nose here, but I heard that they're having issues wondering why we think that skinny equals happy. So we kind of popped in here like little fairies to maybe help why we think skinny equals happiness, right?
Tell me, please. I need to know. I need them to know. Mm-hmm.
We're going to smarticle, okay? So what our brains are actually chasing and loving is dopamine, not happiness. Dopamine is something that is feeding off of things like weight loss, compliments, and goals, meeting those goals. So what's happening is when we're meeting our weight loss goals, we're getting compliments, we are succeeding in our short-term goals, maybe we went down a pant size, we're doing all of these things, that is feeding our brains dopamine. And dopamine at the end of the day is not something that is going to have long-term fulfillment. It's something that's a short rush of excitement, and it's dopamine, and it's really, really exciting. And it's like, oh my God, I love this feeling, and I'm excited, and I have adrenaline, and blah, blah, blah. You're like going, and you're pumped, you're ready to go. Mm-hmm. But the issue about dopamine that people don't understand, it does not equal long-term happiness.
No. And we forget sometimes, right? When we're taking these glow up photos, we're putting them next to each other, and it makes us feel so good because that person in that first photo, yuck. But you forget that person in that photo is still a human. That person in that photo still felt. That person in that photo got you to where you are today. And we forget to praise that person in that photo for getting their ass up one day and deciding to turn it on and get you to where you are today.
And now there's nothing wrong with wanting change and wanting to see change in yourself and get healthy, right? But the lie is thinking that change is the only doorway to your happiness, thinking that skinniness is the only way to your happiness, because that is not true.
It's not true. And that's why the nerds are here to tell you that the skinniness does not equal happiness. There's a lot of internal work that you got to do.
Well, I think they've only paid for about 30 seconds of us, so I think we're ready to peace on out of
here. They might be worried. I think they're want us to get out of here. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Nerds out.
What was that, Liv?
I don't know. I think we keep getting hacked. Like the last 2 episodes, like someone is like hacking in and talking to us. But honestly, like that just scared me so much.
We might have to add them to the payroll.
We might have to add them to the payroll, but I don't know if we could afford them. They're kind of hot.
I don't know. I guess let us know if you guys like the nerd checks. Or if y'all like the nerds that do the checks.
Yeah.
And then maybe if y'all do, we can, budget them in.
Yeah, let us know. But honestly, my throat's feeling a little dry, and I'm
after listening to all of that, I need a drink.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little parched.
If I want to get into it, you know that it wouldn't be an episode if I wasn't asking you questions, if you weren't asking me questions, digging real deep in me, getting to really know my trauma. So, vice versa. I want to ask you, Liv, when do you think you learned for the first time that being smaller meant being happier? When do you think that clicked in your brain, like maybe this is what happiness is?
Yeah, so actually this is a great question, and it came to mind very quickly because I was a cheerleader whenever I was little. Like ever since I was like 3 or 4, my parents put me in like cheerleading, and I remember like being so excited, and I remember seeing the girls who were the flyers, and I was like, I want to be a flyer. Like I love that they're getting thrown up in the air. It looks so fun. It looks so exciting. Mm-hmm. And I quickly learned that girls like me don't get to be thrown in the air and be flyers. And I remember always being told, Taylor, go to the back. You're going to be a back. Taylor, No, I remember even asking a few times, like, can I be a flyer? And they'd be like, no, like, she's smaller than you. Like, she's tinier. She's the smallest, so she gets to be thrown up in the air and have fun. And so I remember as a kid, like, and I cheered all the way up until I was in high school. So I remember like watching those flyers my whole entire life as a kid. And I remember thinking they always look so much happier and they look like they were having so much fun. And I remember telling myself, well, if I just get smaller, if I just lose weight, if I could just be a normal kid and just be smaller, then one day I could be a flyer like this girl and have fun. And I just at a very early age, like I'm talking, I was probably 5 years old, being told that I was too big to be a flyer and to stand in the back and hold the girls' ankles. I would probably say that was like the first time that I had like an association of like, if I'm smaller in a smaller body, I get to do more fun, exciting things.
Oh yeah. I cannot agree more. When I was younger, I kind of went through the same thing. My mom put me in all these sports. And she would put me in cheer. She put me in dance. She put me in karate at one point.
Oh my God. Okay, black belt.
Karate is crazy. But I remember looking around and nobody looked the way I looked. I also think it came with, being in a bigger body, it made you more prone to being bullied and being treated differently. And that didn't feel very good, I love that you touched on that you looked at her and you were like, she's probably so happy right now because she's in a smaller body. I remember when I first started my journey, I think I was on FaceTime with you. And I think I was just like lying, or I don't know. I was playing around, not lying. I was playing around, but I said, Liv, when I'm 100 pounds down, I probably would never cry again. I'm going to be the happiest person ever.
That, yeah.
Or I would see a picture of this girl online and I would look at her and I would show you and I'd be like, if I looked like this, I would never be sad again.
I never complain.
If I looked like this, I would be the most happiest person in the world. If I ever got to look like her, I would never be sad, ever. And it's just crazy because here I am, 60 pounds down. Here you are, over 100 pounds down. And we still have bad days. We still cry. We still have depression hit us. We still have anxiety coming at our door. I still go to therapy. I'm still a human. So where did I get that looking like that person would make me happy? Where did I get that person doesn't have any bad days?
Yeah. I think it's just like we just associate it with like that, the fact that you're smaller, they should have no worries, they should have nothing to complain about and like all of those things, right? But I think it's just something that we were so instilled in as like kids, of the sense of like we were, kind of like pushed aside and told you can't do this because of this. You can't get on this roller coaster because you're too big. You can't do this because you're, blah, 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 blah. You can't fit here. You can't sit with us because you're too big. You can't fit on the bench with us. Like all of those things, right? And so I think we just grew up like constantly getting brought down for us being different, that we just associated like, well, what does she have to complain about? She's a size 0,
Well,
but
it's also like we were set up for failure our whole life. Like I'm going to use the movie Mean Girls as an example. Regina George, she's trying to lose weight because she's so big and she's not even big. And you look at her and you're like, she's not big though. Like why is she, when she has the sweatpants on and she's like, this is all that fits. I know it's funny, right? But like when you're watching that as a kid, you're like, damn.
You're like, damn, she's big. But like now, like we look at her and be like, yeah, like I remember like watching that and being like, oh my God, like, yeah, she does need, like, because that's like what they want you to think. It's like society, like there's so many like different things of like, at the end of the day, like society is to blame, right? Of like why we just feel the way we do around like weight and everything like that. But it was so, like as kids, definitely it was pushed into us with like TV shows and stuff like that. Like there was always the fat, funny kid in the shows and they never like had a relationship, and they would always
wear the ugly clothes. Like they never wore anything cute.
No.
They were it was like they were the fat friend, but they were like the most loud. They were funny.
They would trip and fall and clumsy.
Yeah. And then the other friends would be like the ones that got all the guys and had all the success. It was just, it was kind of like, is that who I am? Does that represent me?
Yep. I felt that exact way growing up. I did. Are you hitting that what or who? Because it says Chris.
I think you kind of said it, honestly. I think we kind of just touched it all at once.
Okay, period. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah,
I think that says it perfectly of why we feel that way. Do you remember the first time that you maybe felt like your body wasn't good enough?
Honestly, I think it was when I was a kid, like not necessarily a kid, but when I was younger. I always make fun of it now, but in that time, I was a friend that people would come up to me and tell me like, your friend is so hot.
Yes.
Like, give me your friend's number. Like, she's so hot. And I remember it would never be me. And I remember I'd have crushes on these guys and they'd come up to me and they'd tell me, I want to talk to your friend. Like, can you give her my number?
Can you give her my number?
My whole life I grew up like that. And I was like, I don't look anything like them. So that's probably why they think I'm ugly. I'm fat.
Yeah.
And I'm ugly. And I'm not good enough for them. And I remember, like, yeah, it's funny, right? Like, I felt important, like, trying to get them to date. But I do wish that was me dating that boy. I do wish that it was me grabbing their attention. And I'm not going to lie and say that when I got to an older age, I did not think that I was capable of true love, because my whole life it was my friends around me that were smaller, that looked different, that were getting that love and that attention. And I think that's the moment where I was like, I am not capable of being happy if I don't look like them, because they get the love, they get the attention. Some people get the fame, some people get the money and I'm going to touch on this really quick. Some people get the brand deals because they're smaller.
Yep.
Brand deals are a thing. Brand deals, some people
Yep.
don't want to associate with big
Represent
people.
a plus size body, and that's the truth. That is the
And
truth
that's the
about
truth.
a lot of
That
brands.
is the truth. And that sets you up for failure. It really does, because you automatically tell yourself, they didn't hit on me, they didn't reach out to me because I'm big and I'm not good enough. And if I lose weight, if I become smaller, then maybe they will want to put me on their brand.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to touch back on like you being in school kind of moments and like how that made you feel and feeling like your body wasn't good enough. Like I experienced that a lot too in like high school and middle school. Like I don't know if I'm sure this happened to you. This is such like a universal like plus size kid like, experience. But I remember like being in elementary school or like middle school, and it was like a joke on like who's gonna go up to like Taylor's locker and like ask her out. And like and then like you say like, yeah, sure, like I'll go to homecoming with you, I'll go to the winter ball dance with you. And
it was like
oh,
it was
just
a
kidding,
dare.
fat
You were
fuck.
a dare.
Yeah,
You were a dare. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember there was this moment in high school, I want to say, no, middle school. There was this moment in middle school where I became like a joke around school. People were saying that I was lesbian. Nothing wrong with being lesbian, okay?
Yeah.
But in middle school, it just happened because being girls liking girls, it just came out, and it was like funny. It was like not a real thing. Like people were like, like you're gonna get made fun of because you're different.
Mm-hmm.
And people started telling people that I liked girls, and like I said, nothing wrong to that at all. But that's not who I was, and people were saying that to make me just like a joke, And it was like I didn't even know this was going on until people were coming up to me, calling me names, making fun of me and stuff like that. And I just felt like in that moment, I just was not worth anything, because they just looked at me and my body and my shape, and they automatically just wanted to make a joke out of it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, obviously, like, there's nothing wrong with like being a part of the LGBTQ community, but
we love them. Are you kidding me?
We love them. We love them. We have many.
Get over here.
Get
your ass over here right now. I'll kiss you.
But I think it's different whenever like, people are speaking for you and labeling you because it's like you're a joke. And I think also, especially in a vulnerable time like middle school, to be labeled in such a way that doesn't fit you. And also like they were doing it because they knew it was a joke, and like they knew it was like funny. And that's something that like I remember in high school, like they, all of those kinds of things like happened. And like it's terrible that they would like label you like that. And I'm sorry. And again, like not even the fact that like it's because like the fact that it was like they were labeling you as a lesbian. It's not that. It's the fact that they were like labeling you because it was like funny to them. Like they were like, oh, the person's a lesbian, like, and like labeling you like when it wasn't.
Well, and that's also hard as a person, in that age, because what about the boys that I do have a crush on?
I was gonna say that then makes the boys like, it's like not only were the boys really not looking at me because of my body, but now they're not looking at me because of this.
Yeah, and that went on for like 3 months, and I remember just thinking like, okay. And Pris back then was the most quiet person you would ever encounter because she was so scared of getting bullied. So I just remember when that did happen, I was closing my locker and these two guys came up to me and started saying that. And I was like, where did that even come from? Like, I don't even know. Like, is it because I don't know. I just questioned myself. I was like, why are we saying that? I didn't understand. And now looking back at it, obviously, like if people labeled me as a lesbian, I'd be like, fuck yeah. I'm hot.
Hell yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. But like at that age when you're still getting, you're still growing up. It's just like, you
don't want to be labeled like that. Yeah. I mean, I think that's definitely like you're valid in that. And I hate that like all of us that were in bigger bodies growing up had to experience things like that. Like I've been the laughing stock of so many things, and I felt ashamed to, to step up and, audition for things in chorus and all kinds of things. Like I can't even begin to tell you how many things that I felt like because I was in a bigger body in school, I was not worthy of doing. And it's just insane that we felt that way, Well,
I don't know about you, Liv, but I feel like growing up in a bigger body and seeing other people around me that might be smaller and getting attention or getting the praise, it almost made me in my body, in my bigger body, want to be louder, want to be more heard, want to be funny, want to just have some sort of quality in me that made people want me, that made people want to be around me. And I think growing up, okay, hear me out. Growing up, did you guys ever do on Facebook like the rate date hates to be honest.
My God, yes. I was a
Yeah.
TBH queen.
Yes. And I remember I would like people's posts. Oh my God, this is like, my brain is like unwiring right now.
I'm jumping.
Okay, so yeah, I'm jumping. I remember I would like, right, all of these posts when they would do it because I'm like jumping. I'm like, what are they going to tell me? They're going to tell me I'm pretty. They're going to tell me I'm pretty today. And I remember I clicked some, right? And most of them, I'm not even kidding, all of them were like, to be honest, you're funny. To be honest, you're so funny. To be honest, you make me laugh and we need to hang out more. You are just the funniest person I've ever met. And I remember I would hover over them and I'd be like, when is he going to say I'm pretty?
Pretty. I wish I could take you out. All the ones that you would see on other girls.
When is it going to say that I love this quality about you that is not internal? When is it going to be a physical attribute that they love? Like maybe my smile or my eyes. And I remember like it never happened. And I was like, am I just fucking funny? Like I love being funny. Don't get me wrong. And that's why I am the way I am today. That's why I'm loud as fuck. That's why I'm funny as fuck. But growing up, I didn't want to be funny all the time. I wanted to be pretty too.
Yeah, I mean, that like you also just unlocked a portion of my brain because I remember that. I remember like constantly like flipping through the TBHs, like wondering like when I was gonna have someone that maybe finally secretly told me they thought that I was cute.
Yes.
But yeah, I just, God, you're like unlocking so many portions of my brain.
Or like when a friend would tell you like this guy reached out to me on Instagram the other day, and I'm like, oh, let me go check my messages. Maybe like I missed something because like I don't have any there.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Like, I remember like growing up, like so many of my friends had boyfriends. Like, it's even like fun fact, how I met Kim is because Kim was one of my best friend's boyfriend. So like
that is actually crazy.
Yeah, and that's how like Kim and I like we used to play Minecraft because like he was one of my best friends like boyfriends. So I was like, yeah, let's play Minecraft together, dude. But like I remember watching so many of my smaller friends, literally all of them had boyfriends except for me. And I'm sorry, but like there was a common denominator. Like I was twice their size. Like and that just
you were like the person to go tell them that they like them and hook them up and send them on a date. And then you just stand there and root them on.
I was the one in elementary school that was like, hey, Jess, and I literally did this before. Jess, there was like in middle or in elementary school, we had this like kissing spot, and I'd be like, hey, I'd go like disrupt him from playing kickball, and I'd go, Jess is waiting behind the concession stand, and she wants you to go kiss her. And he'd run and go kiss her, and that's like what I was, you know.
Yeah.
And so
and you're like, when is somebody gonna tell me that?
Yeah, but that's like that really like just like kind of like bringing everything back to like what we're talking about. That is why at the end of the day, like for that just our entire lives conditioned us to believe that because we were in a bigger body, we were different.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I just can't like it really, it's clicking for me. And that's why we do these podcasts. Cause it's like, we talk these things out and it's like therapy sessions for us, but it really, that does make sense.
No, it really does. And you know, obviously me and you now live, like we know, and we are in this moment in our life where we've come to the conclusion that being smaller does not mean that we're happier. Yeah. I mean, we live it every day. We talk to each other every day, and we both know what we go through mentally. We both know what goes through our head. And we have come to the understanding that, no, this girl in this picture that I kept comparing myself to, just because she looks this way or weighs this amount, it doesn't mean that she doesn't wake up some days wanting to cry. It doesn't mean that she doesn't have bad days. She's human just like me. And I really want to ask you, Liv, because I feel like people that are listening to this is a good question to maybe ask yourself too. What did you expect to change when your body changed?
My happiness, honestly. Like I remember thinking that when my body changed and I started seeing the loose skin and the hip bones popping out and the collarbones, that I was going to be the happiest person that I've ever been. But I mean, the honest truth is that I still to this day, being 135 pounds down, I've said it on here and I'll say it again. I still will stand in that mirror and not be happy with what I see.
Can I ask you a vulnerable question?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're meaner to yourself now than you were back then?
Yeah. Yeah, because
Why?
I think it comes from because back then I always just told myself I just can't do it and I'm stuck in this body. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. You're just stuck here and you get to be lazy and that's your, I didn't have to be hard on myself back then, right? I kind of just got to obviously in my head I was mean to myself. But not really. Like, I feel like I just kind of learned to accept my body because there was a point in time where I said, I've tried to lose weight a million times. I just have to accept myself and love myself for who I am. But I think once I started watching my body change and I realized that I can do it and I can get skinny and it's not just, I wasn't, I wasn't just stuck in that body. I think you start to, again, chase that dopamine. What we did, what those random nerds talked about is that you're chasing that dopamine, that short little dopamine effect of like, wow, I can lose weight. Wow, I am, I've lost 10 jean sizes. Like you start to chase those little feelings. And I think that I just am harder on myself because I know what I'm capable of now. And I know that I can do it. But at the end of the day, that's not the healthiest mindset because again, like a month ago, I upped my dose because I felt like I was eating too much. And that ended up me literally almost passing out. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, for sure. I kind of have another question that I thought of when you were saying that. Do you feel like you ever hit maybe like you set this goal in your head and then after you hit it, you maybe were happy for a little bit and then it just went away? It didn't really last very long after that.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of goes with like all of my goals, right? Like I think we talked about it too before on here, is there's this never ending cycle of the timeline always moving, right? We set a goal for ourselves and we say, I want to hit 299. And I remember when I finally saw 299 on the scale, I was super happy. I was out of the 300s. That all about lasted maybe couple days, and then I said, "Oh, time to hit 199."
Yeah.
And I pushed that time, that finish line further back, instead of just sitting in the moment and being proud of myself and giving myself a month to just relax. I immediately pushed that finish line further back. And again, we're kind of touching into an episode that we've had, we've talked about before, but hell yeah, like I'm constantly pushing that finish line back. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you being vulnerable with that, Liv, because I think it's important to talk about it out loud, because I know that there's people out there that are dealing with that same thing, where they are like, I want to weigh this much, and then they hit it and then they're happy for like a day. And then they're like, well, gotta go up now or else I'm not happy.
Yeah.
And it's well, you were just happy though a little bit ago. And that's what you told yourself a couple months ago, that this would be what makes you happy. And it's almost like we use that as an excuse to not be happy.
Yeah. Well, I almost like want to flip your question and kind of a little bit like of what I said back onto you, because I would love to hear how you have experienced these moments. Has there been a moment where your finish line or your goalpost has kept like moving back from you?
Absolutely. I really think that my biggest goalpost lately has been the mirror. I look at myself in the mirror and I like who I see. And then some days I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, no, you need to do more. You need to lose more, because you're not. No, I actually had it happen to me yesterday. I was trying on a dress and my mom was here helping me put the dress on. And I remember I looked at myself on the side and I looked at myself head on and I was like, I look really pretty in this dress. And then I turned to the side and I couldn't even help it. I said, I look so fat right now. I'm so fat. And my mom was like, you do not look fat. And I was like, I look so fat right now. And in my head, I caught myself, like there was a switch that went off and I said, Pris, you've lost almost 70 pounds. Why? How can you talk to yourself like that when you literally have lost 60 pounds? In my head, I just remember like, I can hear that voice in the back of my head. I know that it's telling me to stop saying that, but it's almost like me is like, I just like kick it to the side and I'm like, shut up, let me just be me.
It's scary what it can do. It can like,
it is. Yeah. And so I can hear this little thing in my head going, Pris, stop saying that. Like you've literally lost 60 pounds. Why do you say these things? Stop it, stop it, stop it. It's like this little angel telling me to stop. But then the devil right here is beating its ass and is telling it. I remember saying it a lot. I'm like, I look ugly. Like this dress is so ugly on me and I look so fat. I was like, Mom, look at me when I turn to the side. Look how my belly just sticks out.
What did you keep saying? Because she FaceTime, we're FaceTime addicts. She FaceTimed me while she was trying it on. What did you, because you said it
I said, do I look like a pillow?
A pillow. That's what she kept like, and guys, like when I tell you, like, but it's hard because we are our meanest to ourselves. But when she called me, I literally was like, like I was like waiting in the Chipotle like drive-through line. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, you look so pretty. Like I had a corset in the back, but she was so, I could tell she was in that mode of bringing herself down because she kept repeating, do I look like
it's because earlier that day I had black leggings on and a black shirt on and I looked so small. I looked so tiny. In my head that was tiny. Okay. But then I put the dress on and it does like this little poof to it. And I'm like, I look so ugly. I look so fat. Like what happened to me looking so much smaller this morning? And I remember like, I almost had like a little bit of like a meltdown. And my mom was like, well, do you want to order a different dress? And I was like, no, I don't want to order another dress, because then the angel on my shoulder was telling me, Pris, you look pretty. Like you look fine. Like you are literally so beautiful right now. And you look fine. I'm like, Pris, why are you being like this? Like, why are you doing this to yourself?
Can I make you sit in these feelings like right now and like put you on the spot?
Just kidding.
Yeah. I want you to
You said yes.
Yeah. Like I want to make you sit in these feelings, like listening to yourself talk about how mean you were being to yourself. How does that realization make you feel? Like I want you to like truly break down, like, how does it make you feel hearing that you can talk to yourself like that?
It's hard because in the moment I remember looking at myself in the mirror. I had this conversation with my therapist yesterday because she asked me, I was talking to her about how I compare myself to just about anything these days. Anything that I can compare myself to, I will.
Yep.
And she told me, she said, when did you catch yourself doing that? And I said, I don't really know. I said, the past year, it's been a wellness era for me. And I've really like actually tuned into myself, and I want to make myself a better person all around. And I said, I think just the past couple of months, I've caught myself doing it, because what I preach on the internet, what I say on the internet when I come online and I do these videos, I don't tell you guys to do anything that I don't do. I don't believe in that stuff. So when I tell you guys to not compare yourself, I take that shit serious, because I'm like, Chris, you compare yourself every other day. So you got to fix it. And so it stuck with me when I had that conversation with her, because she said, well, then if you are self-aware that you're doing that, then that means that you're not that actual, like you're not a mean person. You're catching yourself fixing it. And that means that you're not that person. You're just wanting to correct it because it's bothering you so much. And so yesterday, when I was in the mirror telling myself that I was so fat and ugly, there was a moment in my head where I finally allowed that little voice that was telling me to shut the fuck up to shut up. And I was like, okay, you need to like actually like get yourself together right now, because you tried this dress on that you ordered 2 sizes smaller than you would have a year ago, and it fit you. And I remember my mom was putting it on. She was like, I think there might actually be room in this dress.
I was gonna say, it looked like, even I feel like it could have even been like a tighter corset moment.
It could have been a tighter corset. Yeah.
You know?
And so I had to literally bring myself back to life and tell myself, Pris, stop being so mean to yourself, and stop telling yourself that you look fat. Like, stop telling yourself that because you feel fat, you're ugly in this dress, because you look beautiful. And don't get me wrong, like in a moment when I first tried on that dress, I felt so beautiful. And I was like, what is it that switched for me to feel ugly when I turned to the side and I looked fatter? You know what I'm saying? Like, why did that switch? So what that brings me to is that I caught myself grounding myself yesterday. And I really, in a moment where I could have been even more mean to myself, I just like really did stop myself in a moment that I didn't want to stop myself. I did stop myself and I said, Pris, like, stop, because you look fine. Like, you look fine. And it just made me realize that there is a person in the inside of me that is just human and that just wants to be accepted and that just wants to feel pretty. And I can only let her feel that if I'm kind to myself.
If you
and I will
it.
never let her feel beautiful. I will never let her feel like she's good enough until I start to tell her that. And I just remembered, I'm like, Chris, like, you've grown up in this big body your whole life and you've just been so mean to yourself. And over the past year, you really just want to be this better person, not only for you, but for people that watch you, for people that are around you. And you can't be that person if you're constantly bringing yourself down.
No. I think, like, I love that you let us in, and I thank you for being vulnerable with us and allowing that, you know, moment, because I think that a lot of people are really going to connect to that, of like, they've had moments where they're in the mirror, they're trying something on. And I'm sure a lot of people, we have quite a few of our dosies that are engaged right now. So maybe they've tried on wedding dresses as well and all of those things.
Yeah, spoiler alert, it was a wedding dress.
You know, yeah. Oh, sorry guys. Yeah, it was a wedding dress indeed. Yeah, it was. Sorry. It was indeed. Yeah, it was indeed a wedding dress, but you don't get to see it yet. I did. But yeah, like I think a lot of people do have those like moments where they'll relate to you in that. And I think that kind of takes us into kind of like a little activity moment, reflection moment that we had planned for our dosies, is, you know, things that we want you guys to take out of this. Because Chris and I, obviously, we're sitting here, we're talking about, we don't have everything figured out. We still are being mean to ourselves, right? So we're not sitting here talking at you. We're not going to sit here and tell you, you need to stop doing this right now, and this is how you do it, because we have everything figured out. We don't, right? And we came up with a few like little prompts and like reflection prompts that we want you guys to do, but also, trust me, Chris and I sit here and rewatch these episodes constantly. So while we say these little prompts, we are also going to be like reflecting and working on them as we say them. So a few of like the little reflection prompts that we had for you guys is, what is something that you wish you could tell your past self? And you don't have to answer it right now. If this is going to be a journal prompt, whatever it may be, then, you know, I want you to reflect and think about that one. Liv, what's the next one?
The next one that I want to ask you guys is, what if I let myself be okay right now? What if I tell myself that I am content where I am?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one, because you have to like sit in it.
I'm gonna cry.
Wait, that's a good one. Okay, so the next one that we have is, what happiness am I postponing?
All right, dosies, we challenge you guys to think of it wherever you are and let that motivate you to be kind to yourself and to stop assuming that being smaller is what's going to make you happier, because you have the power to be happy in whatever phase you are in your life right now. And I know that we are all on this journey because maybe we were unhappy where we were before. And that's so valid. That is so valid. But I also don't want you to tell yourself that you're not allowed to feel any sort of happiness or any sort of content with your journey until you look a certain way. Or where maybe you put yourself in where I was a couple of, months and years ago, where I would tell myself, if I looked like this, I would never be sad again. To stop comparing yourself to some other people on the internet and be content with who you are right now, because this person that you are right now, you might only know her for a little bit until you evolve into someone else. All right, Dosies, that is going to be it for our episode today. We are so happy that you guys allowed us to be able to have this deep conversation with you guys. We know that this is not an easy subject to talk about, but we knew that it was time to talk about it. And so we are just so very grateful that you guys gave us the space to do so.
Yes, we love you guys all so, so much. And if you are not a member of our Patreon, please, please, please join the Patreon. You can definitely experience more deeper conversations. We do have more journaling prompts, and we do also have community calls. So we'd love to have you on the Patreon.
Yeah.
I hope you guys have a wonderful and beautiful week. And thank you for allowing us into your space as always. And we love you, Dosies.
And Liver, go be a mommy.
I am. I'm excited.
Yeah! Next week we'll see our new son. Bye, Dosies.
Bye.